a number of your fellow directors have been testifying before Congress as to the process of taking black and white classics and colorizing them.
Yeah.
Could we hear your position on that?
Well, in the first place, I'm furious because I wasn't asked to testify. But I will be testifying. As a film about the direction of which I'm probably most proud is a film in which I got the best notices as a director I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
I wouldn't want any better, and that was a film called Julius Caesar. Now, these notices were not in America, because I'd taken a guy named, the greatest actor of our time. And the greatest English-speaking actor of our time is a man named Marlon Brando.
Yes.
And I took Marlon, and I didn't play Mark Antony. And we did Julius Caesar. And wound up with Marlon Brando. Very few people know this, because it hadn't been publicized in this country. He won the British Academy Award for best performance.
Yes.
Now, I was terrified of Yankee taking on Shakespeare. And Marlon and I, terrified, worked our asses off. He won the British Academy Award. That made me very proud. But when they called me out there, they had Stuart Granger, by the way, playing the Mark Antony till I arrived. I changed that.
Yes.
Now, I said there's only one thing that I want. I want to guarantee that this is, asked me to do this in color. At that time, tint never thought of, it had never been invented. And they said, well, why don't you do it in color? It means a lot at the box office. I said, color, or color, what today would be called colorization, would destroy Julius Caesar. Because the assassination scene would be nothing but blood.
Yes.
I don't want the audience looking at blood. I want them looking at the face of Caesar, mortally wounded, breaking loose from the conspirators, staggering toward his son. He's saying, Brutus, arms outstretched, and see these two faces of trust, betrayal, hope. The very things are dramatizing. And when this class Brutus, and Brutus in agony thrusts home, and Caesar says, "C'est tu, Brutus," and falls Caesar. I said, if that's in color, the audience is watching blood. They're not watching the eyes. They're not watching these two great faces. And as a director, I was destroyed.
Sure.
All right, but then that's the only black and white Caesar.
I know your producer on that, as you recall, was John Houseman.
Yes. Mr. Houseman since then has become not only the producer, but the director. Has probably played 3 or 4 parts.
Yes.
As he also wrote and directed Orson Welles. He wrote and directed Citizen Kane, too.
Yeah, yes.
I think the older John gets, the more complete his career gets. John was happy to have Stuart Granger, Leo Gann, and a lot of other people in Julius Caesar, and was very happy to come along for the ride.
Yes.
And give interviews, which things which he did everything, including editing. Marlon and I worked very hard for a long time on the performances. And it's something he can be proud of for the rest of his life.
And what a cast you had. You had James Mason and
Brutus.
John Gielgud as Cassius.
Yeah, Gielgud was absolutely superb. He came when I spoke to him. He hadn't been on the screen for 10 years. And he told me, so I'm a little terrified, you know, because I do exaggerate. I know I have to stop. She's sticky. Rosemary just stuck a pasty thing under my toe. I said, stop.
Oh.
Yes, she really did. But she also points out that you've got other classes.
Yes, well,
Well, anyway, that was, yeah, what was it I was telling you when she stopped me?
you were talking about John Gielgud as Cassius.
Oh, yes. Well, he was afraid that his tests were a little effeminate and that he'd walk perhaps in an effeminate way in the theater.
Yes.
And he'd given up films for 10 years prior. And I said, John, I know what you're worried about, and that's my responsibility as a director. You're not to worry about that. I'll see to it that it doesn't come off that way.
Yes.
And he looked at me and said, have some trust. Told I trust you. And he came back to film and hasn't stopped since.
No, it was a beautiful performance he gave in Julius.
And don't forget, Professor, he had played Cassius more often than I had read it.
Yes. And
the Cassius that he played was not the Cassius I wanted. I mean, on the stage.
Yes.
He gave me the Cassius I wanted.
It's a beautiful performance.
And that tense scene, he said, if your students, if you don't want to see acting, just run the tense scene, the scene between the two of them.
Yes.
And Cassius and Brutus. It's very rare that you have performances on film of that type.
Yes,
Is that in that film?
beautiful performances.